Please begin speaking after the beep.
In the listening passage, the professor tries to illustrate two theories: explicit memory and implicit memory. Explicit memory is simple to remember, for example, dinner that we ate yesterday. But implicit memory is complex compared with the first one. He gives the example of the advertisement in highway. The advertisement describing cancer, and it is not possible for a watcher to remember that. But after interviewing, what do you think that the animal with P? Normally we think P, but
Number 5.
すみません。
In this question, you will listen to a conversation. You will then be asked to talk about the information in the conversation and to give your opinion about the ideas presented. After you hear the question, you will have 20 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak. Now listen to a conversation between a professor and a student.
Hi, Sarah. To what do I owe the pleasure of this office visit?
It's my study group, Professor Wilson. We're not getting much studying done, and, none of us did very well on your last quiz.
What's the problem?
Well, we've all become good friends, and we joke around a lot instead of studying.
Sarah, let me ask you this. When do you meet?
Every Friday afternoon.
Have you thought about changing to another day? By the time Friday afternoon rolls around, all of you are probably exhausted, and all you want to do is relax and unwind. It's hard to stay focused at the very end of the week.
Good point. Although things have gotten so out of hand that I'm not sure changing days would help, and we'd lose one or two people if we changed days. Friday afternoon's the only time everyone's available. But it's worth considering.
Okay, but just a second. Another possibility is, does your group have a leader?
No.
Well, if you had a leader, that would help enormously. Someone to set an agenda in advance, email it to everyone before the meeting, and then make sure, when you meet, that you stay focused on your goals. And since you seem to be concerned enough about the problem to have come see me, I think that someone might be you.
I guess I could take on that role, but it sounds like work.
You don't have to do it for the whole semester, Sarah. You can start it off, and then perhaps someone else can take over.
The professor proposes 2 solutions to the problem the woman described. Briefly summarize the problem, then state which solution you recommend and explain why.
Please prepare your answer after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.
According to the conversation, the woman has a problem, and the problem is that she has a problem with group assignments with members. Or the professor suggests 2 solutions. The first one is that to change the day to meet other students to concentrate on assignment. And another solution is that to decide a leader. I personally think that the second one will be helpful for her. The reason is that leader will be able to indicate what students should do, and thanks to this, they can easily do their assignment. Although a reader will be hard to do so by he or
Number
herself.
6. In this question, you will listen to a short lecture. You will then be asked to summarize important information from the lecture. After you hear the question, you will have 20 seconds to prepare your response and 60 seconds to speak. Now listen to part of the talk in an education class.
Okay.
One of the hardest parts of teaching is keeping your students' attention. Now, the key to doing this is understanding the concept of attention. Basically, there are two types of attention. The first type is active. Active attention is voluntary. It's when you intentionally make yourself focus on something. And since it requires effort, it's hard to keep up for a long time. Okay, so let's say you're teaching a biology class, and today's topic is frogs. All right? You're standing at the front of the room and lecturing. A frog is a type of animal known as an amphibian. Well, this isn't necessarily going to keep the students' interest, but most of them will force themselves to pay active attention to your lecture. But it's only a matter of time before they get distracted. Now, the other type of attention is passive attention, when it's involuntary. Passive attention requires no effort because it happens naturally. If something's really interesting, students don't have to force themselves to pay attention to it. They do it without even thinking about it. So, back to our biology lecture. You start talking about frogs, and then you pull a live frog out of your briefcase. You're describing it while you hold it up. Show the students how long its legs are and how they're used for jumping, for example. Then maybe you even let the frog jump around a bit on the desk or the floor. In this case, by doing something unexpected, something more engaging, you can tap into their passive attention, and it can last much longer than active attention. As long as the frog's still there, your students will be interested.
Using points and examples from the talk, explain the difference between active and passive attention.
Please prepare your answer after the beep. Please begin speaking after the beep.
In the listening passage, the professor tries to illustrate two kinds of attention. The first one is called active attention. Active attention is voluntary. For example, if teacher says that today's biology class is treating frog, this will attract student, and this is active attention. And another one is called passive attention. Passive attention is contrary to first one, involuntary. If biology courses professor use frog and student to watch it directly, it is passive attention. It will cause passive attention.